It is another episode. We are discussing Fetch AI and also Ethereum. Probably you are one of the holders of Ethereum or Fetch AI. But these are all beautiful and amazing cryptocurrency projects in my opinion. When you look at Fetch, historically, it started around October in 2018. While Ethereum started around July of 2015. So Ethereum is actually 3 years older than Fetch. Ethereum is 3 years older than Fetch. I think it also explains why Ethereum is a little bit expensive compared to Fetch. But well, that is just a time factor. Which came first, which one got more distributed, which one got more comfortable, which one got more established first than the other. Ethereum did that. They came in 2015 and Fetch came in 2018. So apparently Fetch is still trading at a price that it almost launched about, because it launched around 0.4 US dollars, and even right now each Fetch costs around 0.4. So most people can actually regard it as a stunted cryptocurrency with the stunted growth, of course. A cryptocurrency that has not appreciated in value, in price. That could be true, because ever since 2018 it only shoot up in March of 2024 and hit 3.2 US dollars, all-time high price, but then came back to almost its launch price, 0.4 US dollars. This could be hectic for people who bought it at around $3 or $2 or even $1. They might be looking at it as if they've made huge losses. Whereas when you look at Ethereum, it launched at around 0.3 US dollars, and right now it is almost hitting 2,000 US dollars. Hitting 2,000 US dollars, because each Ethereum token is traded at around 1,800 and a few digits within. So when you look at these beautiful projects, they are all amazing projects, and I'm going to be explaining how both are actually doing amazing in the next few minutes as we go along. Fetch has a total supply of 2.4 billion coins, whereas Ethereum does not have any limit coded, but it has 120 million Ethereums in circulation. I do not think that actually the supply of Ethereum is really that huge, however much it is not fixed or shown anywhere. So it seems they keep adding in extra coins into saturation and whatsoever. So when you look at the supply of Ethereum and also Fetch, you will see that what is making Ethereum shoot high is its few saturation supply compared to Fetch, because I think with Fetch almost half of its supply is in saturation. So right now Fetch is at 0.4 and each Ethereum is at 1,800 US dollars. Let's look at how many people are actually holding Fetch and how many people are holding Ethereum. Ethereum right now is estimated to be having almost 2 million accounts, 2 million holders, when you look at Etherscan and other digital wallets. And when you look at Fetch.ai, it is having 143,000 US dollars, 143,000 addresses so far. So there are few people holding Fetch compared to millions of people holding Ethereum. And this all contributes to what you see happening right now according to price and also value. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this podcast, this episode is sponsored by Brandy Digital. Brandy Digital is a UK-based company that does website development and also website marketing. So they will develop your idea from scratch into an amazing enterprise. They do website development, website marketing, and also do with SEO and also handle hosting. So anything to do with your website solutions, contact brandydigital.com. You can also directly email dave@brandydigital.com. Brandy is BRANDY, brandydigital.com, dave@brandydigital.com, and enjoy all the benefits. You can let him know that you've had his advert from Daniel Leonhard podcast, and trust me, you will enjoy all the benefits. I'm going to show you 10 similarities that actually link Fetch AI to Ethereum. Why these two projects are all amazing and why you should be holding Ethereum at the same time Fetch AI. These two projects are all decentralized networks. Both Fetch and Ethereum are decentralized networks, allowing peer-to-peer transactions and interactions without intermediaries. They are all decentralized. None of them is centralized. Both Ethereum and Fetch AI rely on decentralized blockchain. So you can send your transaction from one person to another without any intermediary in between. So it is peer to peer, person to person, one party to another party without any intermediaries. So both are actually decentralized. And this is what makes them relate with each other. They both have blockchains. They all have blockchains. So both platforms utilize blockchain technology to record transactions, ensuring security, transparency, and also immutability. So both are actually secure, both are actually transparent, and they all have decentralized blockchains. None of them has a centralized blockchains. They are all decentralized, not centralized, and they are all using decentralized blockchains. And so every transaction that happen on their networks are actually clearly and publicly recorded. They are secure and they are also very transparent. They all have smart contract functionality. When you look at Fetch AI and also Ethereum, they both support smart contracts and they enable the creation and execution of self-executing contracts with the terms of the agreement written directly into lines of codes. So they both allow developers with various smart contract codes to actually deploy their smart contracts on these networks. Both Fetch AI and also Ethereum allow coding from various developers to deploy their smart contracts onto these chains. They are all token-based economies. Both platforms have their own native tokens. Fetch for Fetch AI and also ETH for Ethereum, and these are used to fuel transactions, execute smart contracts, and also incentive network participations. So they both have native tokens. Of course, Fetch FET for Fetch.ai and also ETH for Ethereum blockchain network. They all allow open source development, both Ethereum and also Fetch AI, have open source development models, allowing developers to contribute to the platform's growth and also improvement. So developers can directly contribute to these amazing projects. So when these developers actually apply their smart contracts or deploy any external technology onto these platforms, it facilitates platform's growth. So the growth of Ethereum or Fetch will actually be attributed to which project comes on board later in the establishment. So you could be seeing Fetch very low right now, but in time to come, we deploy something amazing on the network and it blasts, so it is really hard to predict. But as long as the project is amazing and good and you believe in it, then Fetch should be really an amazing project. They both have global communities. Both platforms have global communities of developers, of users and enthusiasts contributing to their growth and adoption. Of course, Ethereum being older and with a lot of users, it makes it stand out. And Fetch, of course, slightly coming upon Ethereum, but still Fetch is in its development stage and its establishment stage. It hasn't really got comfortable with the market as Ethereum has. So they all focus on decentralization and autonomy. So both Fetch and also Ethereum, they prioritize decentralization and autonomy, aiming to create decentralized applications. Those are the dApps, and also services that operate independently of central authorities. They all focus on decentralization and autonomy. So they all aim at creating decentralized applications, dApps, and also services that operate independently from central authorities. When you look at use cases in DeFi, gaming, and more, both platforms are doing amazing, and they have penetrated various industries, which include decentralized finance, that is DeFi, which include gaming, which include supply chain management, and more. Of course, when you look at Fetch specifically, they've penetrated deeper into artificial intelligence industry, into the artificial intelligence industry. So they both also support decentralized applications. Those are the dApps. I've already mentioned that. So Fetch and Ethereum, they both support the development of deployment of various dApps which operate on decentralized networks and are fully fueled by their respective native tokens. So whenever these decentralized finance come here and join these networks, they contribute to the growth and development of their native tokens, because they are fueled by the native tokens of this platform. So the more dApps Fetch will have, it will contribute to its token growth. The more dApps that Ethereum will continue to have, it will all contribute to Ethereum token growth. When you look at the commitment and innovation and also improvement, both platforms have done amazingly. They are highly committed to innovation and also improvement, with ongoing research development aimed at enhancing their respective technologies and ecosystems. They are all committed projects, and since ever their launch, they've been doing a lot of research, enhancing securities, enhancing privacy, onboarding various projects, partnering up with various projects as much as they can. When you look at Ethereum, it is one of those highly established cryptocurrency projects. Of course, Fetch AI also coming along. So whereas they have things that unite them and make them amazing projects, but Fetch and also Ethereum, they are separately focusing on various solutions and technologies. So while both projects utilize blockchain technology, but they are building distinct solutions for different industries and also use cases. When you look at Ethereum, it is more focused on decentralized finance and programmable blockchains, whereas when you look at Fetch AI, it is more focused on AI-powered data infrastructure and also Internet of Things. So let's look at Ethereum specifically. Ethereum focuses on building a decentralized, programmable blockchain for various use cases. They are more looking at programmable blockchain and also decentralized programmable enterprises for various use cases. And this includes decentralized finance, DeFi. It also includes things like non-fungible tokens, NFTs. It also includes things like gaming and so much more, of course, including e-commerce. Ethereum also aims at creating a global decentralized computer for executing smart contracts and also decentralized applications. Well, Ethereum is one of those projects that is known for smart contracts, deployment of various smart contracts onto its chain. That has been Ethereum from day one. When it comes to deployment of various smart contracts onto its chain, Ethereum has been the #1 leading project in that. Now, when you look at Fetch, it is actually more focusing on building an AI-powered decentralized data infrastructure for the Internet of Things and also artificial intelligence and machine learning applications. So, Fetch AI is more for artificial intelligence. Fetch AI is more for machine learning. Fetch AI is more for Internet of Things. It is less of smart contracts and then NFTs and then decentralized finance. It is less of that. You will hear less of smart contracts when it comes to Fetch AI. And it also aims at creating decentralized network for data sharing, AI model training, and also autonomous AI decision making. So when you look at these two amazing projects, they are all focusing on serving various different solutions. Fetch AI has its own solutions they are looking at solving. When you also look at Ethereum, they are also looking at creating solutions for a various completely different society and also community. So if you are deciding to invest in Fetch or Ethereum, there are certain factors that you need to consider because there are benefits of one and then there are disadvantages of the other. There are also disadvantages of this and also advantages of the other. But when you look at Fetch, to be specific, there are higher risks due to its relatively smaller market capitalization, lower liquidity, and also earlier stage of development. When you decide to invest in Fetch, simply know that there are very many high risks of you losing out your money because it is still having a lower market capitalization and also lower liquidity in the market. And also, of course, it is still under development and it is not yet established. It is not yet an established technology. It is not yet an established enterprise. So you're going to meet a lot of problems that are associated with you investing in just a growing enterprise, just like any other. And when you look at Ethereum, on the other hand, they are lower risks. When you look at the Ethereum token, it is more stable. It cannot go too deep or too extremely high, but the growth and the downfall is always moderate. So there are less risks compared to Fetch. Of course, it has a larger market capitalization, higher liquidity, and it is a much more established ecosystem. The ecosystem is really established. We've looked at Ethereum having over 2 million holders, and we've looked at Fetch having just 1,400 thousand holders. It is still it is not even at 200,000. It is not even at 20% of a million, So Fetch is still relatively a small ecosystem and still under growth and also development. When you look at Fetch, significantly, it has a smaller market capitalization at around 1.2 billion compared to Ethereum. Then when you look at Ethereum, it has a much larger market capitalization at around $298 billion. The other one is simply having 1.2 billions, and this one is having 298 billion. So when you look at how many people have trusted their money with Ethereum, a lot of people. How many people have trusted their money with Fetch? Slightly few people. So it is self-explanatory that Fetch looks to be a little riskier than Ethereum, and when you invest in Ethereum, you are actually more comfortable. But is it worth it to take a risk and invest more in Fetch than Ethereum? Here is the thing. When you look at when you look at Fetch, it is still in the earlier stage of development with ongoing work in its AI-powered data infrastructure. And when you look at Ethereum, it is more established. It is a much more established project with a wide range of use cases and also a larger developer community. So when you invest in Fetch, because it is at its earlier stage of development with ongoing work, you are actually investing in a growing project. So you grow with it. You are investing in a project that is still under development and growth. When you invest in Fetch, you are actually developing in an enterprise. Investing in an enterprise that is still under development, and you will grow with it. When you invest in Ethereum, you are actually going to enjoy already made benefits. Okay, but of course it is now very expensive, which means that if you invest in it, you're getting fewer Ethereums, but worth huge sums of US dollars. But when you invest in Fetch right now, you are actually investing in a crypto project that is still growing. So what is your investment plan? How many US dollars do you have, and are you looking into staying in for a longer period of time, or you are actually investing in short term? When you're looking at short term, do Ethereum. Do Ethereum, because at least in 3 years you will actually have some few US dollars extra than your capital. But when you look at long term, then do Fetch, because Fetch is still growing. It means that by the time it becomes established for it to grow exponentially, then you will actually be in a lot of profit. So you are looking for a crypto project to grow with, that is Fetch. You are looking for a crypto project that is a little bit more stable for short-term investments, that is Ethereum. But also Ethereum, if you're also looking at long-term, yes, you can still invest in Ethereum, because at the end of the day, it will not dump any sooner. But we are looking at investors with small capital, but then you want to be in crypto, you want to entrust your future or retirement with crypto, where are you going to put your money, in Fetch or Ethereum? Fetch is riskier, but if you're actually willing to wait, then Fetch, I think it will yield more results. But of course, Ethereum is more stable. So if you're not a person who loves risks and all that, Ethereum is good for you. Let's look at the terms of community. Fetch is having a smaller but growing community of developers and enthusiasts. When you look at Ethereum, it is much more larger, with more established community, with a wider range of stakeholders. So ultimately, investing in Fetch or Ethereum depends on your individual risk tolerance. If you are more risk tolerant, then Fetch for you. If you're like, no, I don't want things that are really risky, I've worked so hard for this money, then Ethereum is actually good for you. What are also your investment goals? What are your investment goals? Long term, short term, retirement, or you simply want to make some few extra dollars at the end of the month, or 2 months or 3 months? What are your investment goals and also your interests? Have you sat down to learn solutions that Fetch AI is bringing onto the industry? Have you sat down to study about Ethereum and what it stands for? And then what are your choices at the end of the day? Okay, so it is actually highly essential to make clear research and also consider multiple factors. Consult with various financial experts before making solutions. So I've been really asking myself why Fetch is an amazing project. But then when you look at its growth, it is actually so limited. Like, the growth of Fetch looks smaller compared to what we think in our brains it should be. Looking at its setup, looking at its goals, at its mission, the infrastructures that it has developed so far, we're like, why isn't this all attributing to the price growth? But when you look at the market competition, Fetch AI is operating in a very, very competitive market with established players. For example, SingularityNet, Numerai AI, Ocean Protocol, Nosana. There are so many established players that are actually directly competing with Fetch. So the AI and machine learning space apparently is highly crowded, and it is making it a challenge for Fetch AI to stand out, to be differentiated, to differentiate itself from these or other projects, Numerai, Ocean Protocol, SingularityNet. So it is becoming so hard for Fetch AI to attract significant attention of these other projects that are actually in direct competition with it. When you also look at it, Fetch is not getting mainstream adoption. It is not getting mainstream attention. So the technology, however much it is innovating, it is amazing, it is still in its early stages, but it is not getting the mainstream media. The BBC, the CNN, the Al Jazeera, they are not reporting about Fetch, but they report about Ethereum every single day. So this has a lot to do with adoption. The more adopted a crypto is, the more sustainable it can stay on the market and grow. So mainstream recognition and adoption is likely to be affecting Fetch. When you look at it on a broader view, AI-powered infrastructures are crucial, and they have also not really been adopted easily by the mainstream. I think the mainstream has not really seen the significance of these projects. They've not really yet picked them up And we hope that when they do, Fetch will maybe have an amazing growth. I'm also thinking about the regulatory uncertainties. Maybe it is also contributing a lot to Fetch not being up there, growing as we think it should. So the regulatory environment for AI and blockchain projects is still evolving and also uncertain. The regulatory clarity and favorable projects could be impacting Fetch's growth and also hindering its amazing growth that we expect. But we hope that regularity uncertainties do not actually hinder its progress and lead to its downfall. When you also look at the development and roadmap, Fetch's development and roadmap is so ambitious, but the progress can be actually slow due to complexity of the technology. Yes, I think I agree with this. The development of Fetch is so ambitious, but the progress can be actually slow because of the complex of technology. I do agree with this. When you read into Fetch AI roadmap, Fetch AI website, and what they are trying to build, it is so complex. And it looks at wider pictures that we cannot even try understand right now. And then it brings in questions on, will they be able to achieve it? If they are able to achieve it, will it be now, or it is actually going to consume time? We can also agree that maybe Fetch has also faced some delays and also setbacks in terms of development, and this can also impact investors' confidence and also lead to slow price growth. When you also look at tokenomics and supply, Fetch's tokenomics and supply dynamics might not be optimized well for price growth. A larger token supply or inadequate token burning mechanism can lead to downfall of price pressures. I would choose to agree. I think the token burning of Fetch AI token are not really active, and they've not maybe focused on this. And when you look at Fetch, it is really huge, 2.4 billions. It is really huge when you look at the current market, where there is a lot of competition, and you bring in billions and billions of tokens in the market. It can really actually be very, very hectic. When you also look at the marketing of Fetch, it is really worth of it to think that maybe the marketing efforts and community building initiatives have not been effective enough. And for a strong community, marketing is very, very crucial, because it drives awareness, it drives adoption, it also leads to price growth. Fetch has really tried to collaborate and partner with a lot of companies, although they are promising, but they are not really yielding results. I think most of the projects that Fetch has partnered up with are also startups, are also projects that are trying to get into the market and establish themselves. It has not really worked out with already established and well adopted projects, and I think this has led to stunted growth. So looking at Fetch in 2025, trading at the same value it started with in 2018, is a huge blow. And I'm like, what? How much longer can people be patient? How much more can people be patient about Fetch's price growth? I think it is high time Fetch administration, Fetch developers looked into why Fetch is stagnant. Despite all the promises, all the technologies, all the infrastructures that have been constructed, but the Fetch is not taking any step ahead. It is not. The only time it grew, it was in March 2024, where everything was actually booming, even Bitcoin booming, everything booming. But right now, 0.4, what is happening to Fetch? It is going to be a stunted cryptocurrency project, or there is something coming up. It is really hard to tell. It is really hard to tell investors. Yes, I'm a cryptocurrency podcaster, but you look at a project and you're like, oh my goodness. It seems to be an amazing project, but why am I not seeing any efforts or signs of growth and development? And how much longer can people be patient and, trust in Fetch when it is not taking any step ahead? At least it would have been $1, and we're like, but it is 2025 after 8 years and it is still the same. Jesus Christ. My name is Daniel Reinhardt. You've been listening to DLP, and continue listening, continue subscribing wherever you listen to this podcast from. Thank you so much. I appreciate, and I will always bring you such amazing episodes for you to engage, to learn, to develop yourselves, and to become better and better when it comes to crypto and also